This is an updated barn tour of MacNair's Country Acres because we changed locations. So in the first barn, this is like our school barn section because it's the farm's divided up into different sections. So right here is Henry and Lily, and there's some tack stuff for the school horses. There's all our extra fencing. You can use it for stall guards and making new pastures and stuff. This is Mr. Darcy. He's one of our school horses, not a pony. And then this is Patch, another one of the school horses. These are 3 girls. They often take lessons here. This is Morgan, that's Lisa, and then that's Carol. Right here is the school barn tack room. We have bridles and saddles. Those are most of them, not all of them though. Some of them are being used right now. But we have saddles for ponies and horses and bridles for every size and shape and everything. And there's some extra bridles down there. There's some feed for the school horses that are being fed. Extra helmets, and that's like who you're riding and everything, and that's the horse use chart. Right here is some extra girths, and there's some tack cleaning supplies, a ear net, and a tack box. And then here's the lockers for the students where you can come and put your stuff down and grab a grooming box and groom your horse. This is the rest of the school barn. There's a little pony, her name's Sonia, and then another horse in here, and his name is Richie. Right next to here is the stable cleaning supplies, and also a spot where you can tack up your horse if you're in a lesson. We have the trash can and all the muck stuff's in there, and then the wheelbarrow's outside. I'm going to show you inside the feed room now. Right here is where we keep all our hay. Back there is some supplies, and on top there's some bottles for the foals. There's also supplements and hoof polish. Some extra buckets, there's stuff, and some shoes that horses pulled. We just kind of pile them there until the farrier comes. There's some more hay bags, and then over here is some salt licks and some extra stuff on top of the container that has all the food for the horses. And we have an interesting system here, and I can explain it later if we have time. Now we're moving on to the border section of the farms. We offer barns and pastures, so I'm going to show you the pastures first. This is O'Leary's Irish Diamond, or we call him Cleveland, and he's a big boy. You can meet his owner later. Right here is Tony, and he's kind of spoiled, so he's got his fly mask and everything on. This is some extra boots on top of the boot box that has all the Polar Wrap, shipping boots, everything in there. This is one of the main barns for boarding. Right here is Gracie. She's a large pony, and that's her saddle pad. Each horse has their own saddle pad. Now, up the ladder is the loft for the boarders. We have a couch, and this is our awards thing. Basically, we didn't have enough room to hang all of those, so we piled all of the ribbons and everything into that box. There's some trophies up there, and there's also a chair in the corner. Right here is Lance, and he's being fed by our stable hand. Stable hand's name is Max, and he's basically giving him grain right now and taking care of the horses. He's been working on the farm since we first got it, so he's one of our older friends. 5 cross ties for the boarders. This is one of them. It's also a wash stall, and each barn has its cross ties. Next to that is the pony barn for boarders, so we keep all the little ponies and stuff in here. This is Blue, or Blue Cowboy, and he's ridden by Stevie. This is Stevie, and she's just taking care of him and everything. That's his saddle pad and his tack box. There's the loft that I'm not really going to show you because it's really messy. This is where we keep all the halters. We like to keep it nice and organized, so if you need to take your horse anywhere, we can just grab one. And it's for all the horses, and the boarders keep theirs by their stall. That's an empty stall right now, but there's a horse that goes in there, but she's out riding right now, and I can show you the ring in a minute. And then in here is Magic. I can't remember his show name, but yeah, if you watch my other videos, I'll probably say it. There's some Breyer horses, a vet kit, and a lantern. This is the other wash rack, and there's a hose and some soaps in the corner. So it's pretty handy. You don't have to supply it yourself. It's usually there. This is the second barn that we offer for boarding, and it's also the final. This is Duncan, or Willow Creek Slam Dunk. That's a saddle pad. And then this is Finn, and his show name's Forgo. Moving on to the second set of pastures. This is Snowman, but we call him Snowy. And then this is Mongammon, and he doesn't really have a barn name, but this is Austin, and he's riding Lonesome Glory, or Dublin. And Lonesome Glory is a thoroughbred that we just bought, and he's a baby still, so he's being trained. and he's just jumping a little course right now. Over here are some of our jumps that we keep in the school ring. There's like a water jump that hasn't been painted, some cavalettis, standards, poles, fences, gates. And over in the little corner, there's some supplies that you can use while you're riding. There's some cones like lunging supplies, side reins, crops, and a mounting block. Some of our jumps are homemade, like this roll top is, and also that one. So they're not Breyer, so if you really have that question, then it's answered now. And basically there's a little course always set up, and this is where we do our lessons, and the boarders can ride if they're just riding normally. But if they have a lesson, we have the bigger rings and the better jumps in there. Two people sitting here. This is Samantha, and she's the owner's wife and also a manager here. And then this is Brenda, and she is our manager, and she also deals with sales and stuff like that. She's a trainer as well for the beginners to intermediate riders. Right there is Levi, our little doggy, and she's basically attached to Sam, so you'll always see them together. This is Lily, the owner's daughter, and she's riding Kaylee right now. Kaylee's her new pony. She bought her recently, and she's pretty green, so she's working with her. Right here is a bulletin board that we can post any information that we want to show the boarders about, like just a way to communicate with them while they're riding. Now we're moving on to the private boarding area. We have to keep it blocked off from school kids because it's kind of the more hyper horses, I could say. There's more stallions and everything. So right here is Woodburn. He's owned by Austin. This is all owned by the farm, so they're not boarded by anybody. And he's a good cross-country horse. So this is the feed system that we have. Each horse gets their own little baggie with their name written on it and whatever supplements they need and their grain. And if you really want to see how I make them, I can show you. But basically, it's really easy, and you can just dump them out, their little baggies. And then right here, this is Champ, and Samantha usually rides him. He's pretty good boy. And that's our barn cat. She doesn't really have a name. And then on top, we store all of our blankets and coolers and sheets and everything. They're all in there, from anywhere from homemade to Breyer to God knows. The doghouse, or coming out of the doghouse, is Grace. She's a little Shetland sheepdog, and she does agility and everything. She's a barn favorite too. This is Toby. He's one of our newer dogs. He's pretty cute. He came with a ASPCA set. And right here is Samantha's tack box. We also have tacky wax and some boots. If you don't have tacky wax, I suggest it highly. This is Bouncer, or Chefnick Park Bouncer. He's a stallion, one of our top pony stallions. In the corner we have an extra doghouse. He's got hay nets in the back, and there's also some hay nets right there and a wheelbarrow. So moving on, this is Authentic, and he's the sire to a lot of our horses here. He also does a lot of jumpers and other stuff like that. Here's all the saddle pads that we have for the horses, and there's a halter right there with a chain for the little bit more harder to handle ones. This is Declan. He is Authentic's son, and he's still a baby, so he's learning and being trained. This is Anki. She is one of our dressage trainers, and she also trains a lot of horses and breaks them and everything. This is Milton. He's our top hunter. He's very fancy and everything. We love him. And then next to him is Valentine, but we call her Pia. And she doesn't have a show name yet, but her barn name's Pia. She's really nice and pretty. Jessica is another one of the people who helps to break our horses and trains them and takes them from babies into show horses. And she loves tried Western, so she's our only Western rider, and she's got a few of her quarter horses on the farm. This is Big Checks to Cash, or Brady, and she does a lot of Prelly activities with them, so she's riding just with a rope around his neck right now. Her horses are very well trained. This is our vet, or caretaker. She makes sure all the horses are in proper condition and everything. Her name's Ashley, and she's looking after our new mare in foal. This is Reba. She's the mom to a lot of her horses also. And her little foal, our newest addition, his name is Samson. This is Water, or Water Wishes. Right now he's in Jessica's pasture because she's training him because he was just broken and he's still a baby. There's a tree in the back, and this is basically her pasture. It's a nice sized one. and it goes all the way back there. This is her tack. She has a barrel racing set and a pleasure set because she does both. And the bridles and saddle pads are in there. Moving on, this is our tack room, and basically I'm not going to show you it because it's always messy. And if you watch my earlier videos, you understand that. So this is the private boarding section, and there's this big area that you can ride in. This is the riding ring, one of them. Now coming on to the open boarding area, and then down to the school barn. So everything over there. So I hope you enjoyed the tour, and it is much bigger and much better. And I have an idea for a series, so if you, or not a series, a contest that involves Breyers. And so if you're willing to enter it, just leave a comment below, and then if I get enough comments, then I will make a video for that.